Let's get started. Well, one, thank you, you three, for joining and being here. It's the holidays. We're wrapping up 2024, so very excited to hear from you, and I know everyone else is too. So we are going to get started with just introductions. So tell us about you, your team, your brokerage, and where you grew up, and anything else you'd like to add about kind of your overall business.
Okay. Hi, my name is Crystal Tran. I'm with At Properties with the Crystal Tran team. We are currently a team of 17 agents, and we are the largest team at Properties right now. We are planning on growing. Where did I grow up? I grew up I feel like in many places. First was Berwyn, first was Ukrainian Village, then we moved to Berwyn, and then I grew up in Wilmette. So I always like to claim all three because they're nothing alike each other. So just a quick accolade, just cool stuff is I've sold a mansion on Lakeshore Drive, one of 7 mansions on Lakeshore Drive, sold a glass house with Carrie. Oh, yeah. So that was definitely something I'll never forget, but there you go.
That's right, I forgot about that. So I am Carrie McCormick. I'm with At Properties, Christie's International, I guess now owned by Compass. Is that what happened? I've been a broker here in Chicago for 25 years, which is quite a long time, but my first decade, which is hard to say that, was in new construction development. So I've been in the brokerage world half of my career and then in new development construction for the first half of the year. I grew up in Lake Forest. Just like you, Crystal, I've moved all over the place, but I can't even remember everywhere I've lived. So hence why I'm a real estate agent, because I love to move people.
Hello, I'm Dean Glamis. I work here at A&M. Look at that intro.
I didn't get that.
I'm my 24th year in the mortgage business. Been here just a year and a half after 20-some years. I guess what's my greatest accolade? Married to Nina? Is that
Yes.
Yeah. Born in Chicago, raised in Overland Park, Kansas. I always loved saying that because I absolutely loved growing up there. Came back to Chicago when I was 12 years old. Was a trader at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange for 11 years until computers and technology shut that down. Walked into a mortgage company with zero experience. Worked my ass off to get where I'm at. Started from nothing. That's my greatest accolade. Accolades are what we're good at, right? Mm-hmm. Being a dad, being a husband, and being ranked consistently one of the top 200 producers in the country since 2007. So there we go.
Great. All right, so we're going to dive right into it. We've got about 4 sections of questions, but we're going to start with just overall real estate careers. So this is a question for you all. When you reach a point in your business where you are ready to scale, what advice or pros or cons would you give to agents taking this next step? We'll start with you, Crystal.
I would say seek other people out for advice, people that you trust, 2 to 3 people, especially if you're scaling, you're spending a lot of money, and you're changing your business plan, for next year or months to come. Just be sure that you're doing the right thing, you're going to be spending a lot of money, and that you're heading in the right direction. So I think that's the most important thing, is just getting the feedback from other people that have been through it before.
So it's great that you and I are here together because I think we operate our businesses differently. You said that you have a team of 17, which I did not know that. My business is run just very differently than that, in the sense of I just don't have a big team. What I have is what I think is the most incredible support team, I don't like the word staff, that supports me so that I'm 100% Carrie. And I've done that on purpose. And when I went to go scale the business, I was a solo agent. I was doing all the paperwork, I was doing all the scheduling, I was doing everything. But I had to make a hire because I realized, as the business was coming in, I need help. And I think that was, to me, the scariest part was the first assistant, right? Of like, oh my gosh, I have to delegate. I have to hire someone. I'm responsible for someone else's life, So hiring the first assistant was very scary to me, but it was the best thing that I ever did. And then finding the right person, right? Because as you build your brand and do your business, Like, you have a way that you want to do it. And when you start hiring people, they also have to have that vision and goals in mind, and they represent you as your brand. So finding the right people, I think, is the most important part of scaling a business. And I got lucky. I got the right ones.
I would agree with both of that. Very important in both aspects. As I mentioned, I'm in the mortgage industry, by the way, I'm not a realtor, is being in the business for 24 years, in the first 12, 13, there was no such thing as supporting a mortgage company, none whatsoever. You were doing everything on your own. And as you mentioned, finding an assistant, it's scary, because why would I hire someone when I can do that, when I feel I can do that better? But as you get to the point where you start getting yourself burnt out and your business is coming in and you can't hang on to that, hire people who do things better than you do. We offer a lot of business development support from our realtor partners. What do I want to spend a Wednesday afternoon calling Panera or a corner bakery for food for an open house and printing out rate sheets? It takes me away from what I'm good at. What I'm good at is talking to clients, realtors, and closing deals. So you scale it that way. You find the right people, because a lot of salespeople are type A personalities, which means I want everything done yesterday. The business emanates from me, so you have to find people who understand that. But scaling, finding people who can do those other tasks better than you is the most important thing. I learned that by mistake in my career, because there wasn't support. You had, because of how long I've been doing this, the support wasn't offered. I learned by mistake, but learn from others. It doesn't matter how long I've been in the industry. I learn from the younger people here at A&N. I look up to them because they come up with fresh ideas. Always be learning. Humility is an important aspect of this business.
Agree. Perfect. Dean, I'm going to stick with you on the next one. In an industry that is economically motivated, how do you continue to grow despite what the market does?
March of 2022 is when everything hit the fan, right? Interest rates went up, but I don't think interest rates were the big issue. It was inflation. So things were incredibly slow. You talk around, I would say, from 22 and 23, some of the worst years that we've had. So I look at that, I go, everything has to be an opportunity. So I may not be growing my business, but I'm going to grow my market share. I'm going to go after that business. So that's when I got busy, is reaching out for new opportunities, offering support. Keep your mindset like that. I'm going to grow my market share in this downtime, so when it gets busy again, my business explodes again.
Perfect. We'll go over to Carrie.
Yep, thank you.
What steps did you take in order to brand yourself as a luxury broker? And is there anything you would do differently if you had the chance?
So what I would have done different, is this on?
Switch it up.
Oh. What I would have done differently, to start with that, is I would have started social media earlier. I think that definitely has propelled my business into the luxury market. But I look back to my first Instagram post, and I don't encourage anyone to do that, because honestly, I look like a deer in headlights. It was like the worst, and I just didn't understand it. It was like the worst picture I've ever taken, and now that picture is out there for everyone to see. But I would have dove a little more deeper into social media earlier, but I'm glad that I'm on it now. As a luxury broker, though, to brand yourself, I never set the intention to do that. It came organically, and it was through client experience. And once a client has a great experience, they refer you to somebody else. And it just, the referral process just started, but it was branding in the right places. So I started networking with people in the financial industry, like, wealth advisors. I'm really into art, so I started networking with art dealers and art collectors. And you just surround yourself in this sphere of people that own luxury properties. Cars is another one. So you figure out where these buyers and sellers are, and you have to be there. And your marketing and your presence and everything that you do needs to speak to them.
All right, and Crystal, how have you built your business outside of your sphere?
Oh, sorry.
I can take it
Either or.
So this is a good one, because when I was a new realtor, probably for the first 2 years, they go network, go talk to your friends, meet them up for coffee. So then at the end of the year, I'd be like 10 grand into girl dinners, and not one single listing, not one single buyer, because all the other friends were realtors. So I was like, crap, I got to figure out another way, because I'm just going to go broke going to all these dinners. And so I just started marketing myself online, social media, when I entered into the real estate market, it was 2012, social media had just become a thing. Instagram had just come out, and all the realtors were looking at it like, what is this playful, childish thing that everyone's on, And I was just kind of like, okay, well, I'm just going to, use it and post things and make marketing advertisements for myself, and it just kind of started taking off. But how I really started to build a sphere around myself was through marketing and branding. I just started to attract people online through my social media profiles. I had agents coming up to me, buyers, sellers, you know, just, oh, we see what you're doing. It really resonates with us. So really, it was just putting my name and myself out there and putting myself in situations where I can get in front of buyers, like at open houses. I know a lot of us don't like to do open houses, but like you can't get in front of a more motivated buyer in person, face to face, than you can at an open house. So we used to do that a lot. So yeah, I just focused on the brand, and just it became a point where people started coming up to me to talk about what I was doing, and that's really how that shift happened for me. And then really, I would say most of the clients that I serve are complete strangers. We work with like majority, 80% of the clients we close with are complete strangers that find us online. So that's just kind of what we've done.
I think that's great, and I think that's a good lesson for everyone, because social media has given people a platform to share about themselves, and when you can repeatedly do that, you're going to just build a brand for yourself, and people are going to recognize you and remember things that you post. And I think you all do a fantastic job at that, and that's why we know you. Dean's LinkedIn videos are classic. Any one of you have anything else to add on any of those questions? Good. All right, we'll move on to questions about lead generation and getting listings. So both questions are going to be for all of you. I'll start with you, Crystal. How do you acquire listings, and what are some of the best practices for agents going on listing appointments?
Well, I think when you're doing, when you're picking up listings, always invest into the photos, the videos, go above and beyond, do drone photos, because you're going to take that and that's going to become your portfolio for the next property and the next seller that you present in front of. So it's just really important to do that. And once you have that, you have a process, right? And how I used to get listings out at the beginning was I used to do mailers. And I think I was out in the Winnetka office and all the agents in there were like, mailers? That's so old, no one's doing that. But I got a listing off of an announcement I sent out that I had just joined Koenig and Stray, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna send it out to this block. And I got 2 listings out of it because someone that got that announcement letter related to me and said, hey, I just gonna call and have a conversation. So you just always have to put yourself out there, whether it's, and I think it's really important online too. We forget that aspect because, we think sellers, listings, we have to mail something to their house, we have to get in front of them, they have to be referred, but sellers are also online looking and researching agents all the time. I mean, we do this every day and when we go to dinner, right? And it's no different when someone's looking for a realtor. So like when you're going to find a restaurant, what do? You go to Google, you look at the reviews, you look at the photos, and it's just no different in the world that we're in. So I just think, honestly, a lot of the listings we've gotten, it's been really organic. We don't do paid postcards anymore. It's to the point now where we just have people reaching out and asking, to meet with us. So it's just built on its own.
Yep. So a lot of what you just said, I'll just give this one to you. We do the same, a lot of mailers, a lot of online, but a lot of referrals too. I think that's one thing is, your CRM, your database is such a golden place to, reach back out, make phone calls to people, and then just leveraging all of those referrals. But once you go on a listing appointment, I think that was the next part of this question. I think once you're there, you have to know the data, because that's what they want to hear, right? You're sitting in front of them as an expert in the industry. You have to know, one, you need to know your audience, right? Because you need to know what's important to the seller or the buyer, whether they're analytical, whether they're, emotional about the house or whatever it is. So having good communication and people skills is so important. Know your data. And they want someone that they trust and can work with as a partner. So make sure you express. I always start with, my job is, and then I fill in the blank. And that's what they want to hear. What am I doing for you? It's not about, I always say it's not about, my accolades and I've done this and I've done this. It's what am I going to do for my clients? And I express that to them. I'm very clear of what my intentions are and what I'm going to do for them. And, that helps build the relationship.
I love that. Dean, I'll let you jump in.
I haven't gotten a listing in.
Lucky. Well, do you want to talk just a little bit about maybe how we help our agents on the list side?
So this is there we go. Yes. As far as this goes back to, we were talking about scaling business. She asked how we help our agents on the listing side. Back in the day, there was always rate sheets and marketing material. But this was around 10 years ago, so I realized that you have to offer more. 20 years ago, I'd show up with rate sheets and donuts at every single office in the city, and it worked. It worked, right? Then it was, let's throw money at an agent, but you have to show value. The greatest asset I bring to an agent is myself. And I believe that. And it's not my ego talking. I believe in what I do. I can't believe anyone wouldn't use me for a loan. And I only mean that because I'm adamant that what does Nina call it? ADD that I have, and I can't focus if I don't get a deal. So I bring that to the table. But we also offer them any type of support. This is one thing that A&N's been really at the forefront of is marketing support, video support, open house support, anything you can do to help them. What can we do to help you grow your business? And that's what we try to do. That's what I've been trying to do for the past 10 years. Real value rather than, hey, I can do any deal, I get the best rates type of thing. So.
Yeah, lenders can work both sides for sure and help out there. All right, next question. What kind of marketing and prospecting does your team do in slow and busy seasons? As we're kind of rounding out the year, we can tend to feel it's a little bit slower naturally, like what am I doing wrong? I need to do something. So how do you combat that and dive into the following year?
I don't think there's ever a slow time in real estate. If you feel like you're slow, there's always something to do. There's always postcards to send out, CMAs to do for clients, people to reach out to. And if you feel like you're slow and you're at home scratching your heads, you probably want to rethink your plan on what you're doing. But, and also I know everyone's always like, oh, it's slow, and everyone's like, oh, okay, it's slow, I'm going to kick back, I'm not going to make any calls. No, when it's, just because she's slow doesn't mean that I'm slow, and just because she's slow doesn't mean he's slow. So don't let that get in your head. And so for me, like, there is no slow time. There's always something to do. And if you find yourself having slow time, find something to do that is going to add to your business. So there's so much. There's so many online profiles that we have to work on. We have to work on our bios. We have to work on, our marketing, getting, more of ourselves out there on the internet, whether it's video, it's photos, so that the client can actually find us and then make a decision within 5 seconds if they want to work with us, right? So there's just so much to do. So I'm sorry, there's no slow time in our team.
I agree with that, but I do think when there sometimes is a little bit of a lull, and like you said, you gotta pivot and do other things. But for me, that's where I double down on marketing, because even around holidays or COVID was a good example. I mean, I know that we were super busy, but I remember when that first happened, that first week, and everyone was freaking out, and there were some real estate agents that were like, okay, I'm quitting, I'm retiring, I'm moving. We all thought that the world was going to end. And I just remember sitting at the dining room table thinking, like, I'm doubling my marketing budget. Like, I am going to, because I was nervous too. I was nervous about what I was going to do. But I just knew that the more effort that I put in, the more results were. So I always have this fear of downtime, and I don't want any downtime. So my downtime is doubling up everything.
Dean, you want to say?
As far as that, when you mentioned downtime, that's when I get anxious, anxiety, which means I know I'm doing something wrong. So what they said is keep yourself busy. If December's slow, the holiday's slow, cut 48 hours out of your time to plan for January, February, March, April, every month what you're going to do. Do you have a postcard campaign? Make sure it's already scheduled here. Get that anxiety out of your brain and put it on paper, and get the plan in place and keep it going. As I said, I've been doing this 24 years, and I started from nothing. When I left the trading floor, I was completely broke. I was my back against the wall, so I had to work, meaning I had a plan, and I stuck to it, and I stuck to it religiously. So if you have that worry about being slow, that anxiety, get a plan down to it and stick to it and work hard at it. That's what I would suggest.
Love all of that. We've learned that there's no slow seasons, everyone. We're going to stay busy year round. Anything else that any of you want to add on that section? Good. All right, we're going to talk about business planning for 2025. So this question is for all of you. What do you do for yourself personally to stay motivated and consistent in your business?
I just talk to my teammates, see what's going on with them, see who's having a hard time with, accomplishing their goals, and truly, they're the people that keep me motivated. It really is. Like, I'm talking to most of them like a few times a day, if not every day. But yeah, they're the ones that keep me going. Otherwise, like if If they're not around, then I'm probably cooking, you know, and doing some other stuff. But yeah, they're the ones that keep me going.
I don't think I have ever had a problem with motivation. I am like, I don't know, like it's in my DNA. I was born that way. You know, my mom told me from a young girl, I was like the girl that worked 3 jobs. I started working at 12. I was always an entrepreneur at heart. And I just think that, I mean, every day I wake up, I absolutely love what I do. I love the people I work with. And it just, every day I wake up, I'm so motivated, and it's just in my DNA.
So I have a problem with motivation. My ideal situation is sitting on a Greek island, drinking Greek coffee on the beach. I love that. That's the only time I've ever called. My family's from the island of Crete, and Amy can attest that's the only time you don't have your ADD or anxiety. So what prevents me from getting there is my job, which means I have to work as hard as possible. If a deal comes in or something comes in that's blocking my mind, so I tap that and I get a plan going. So if I want to get there, I have to work hard. Different people, you know, we're all still type A personalities, but work towards your strengths, and that's what I do, is to stay motivated. Even in my best year, I look at my numbers and say, look how many more people did better than me. So it's not a competition that I want to be. So I have no such thing as envy. That's one of the worst human traits. But people who even do less than me, I want to learn. I want to learn, what are they doing different than me to succeed? What are the younger people? Any new ideas? Always open to it. What Crystal said, she talks to her team. During COVID, it was great. Rates were 3% or lower, phone was ringing off the hook. We were busy. No one talked to anyone. But I realized that your brain is a muscle that needs exercising too. So what we started doing here regularly is having our meetings with the roundtable discussions, getting ideas, and it stimulates you. Get in front of people, learn, always be learning ideas and what you can do as far as getting yourself out there. You're not an island, especially in this business. Learn, talk to your people, talk to other people, and create a plan.
Yeah, I will say too that Nina and Dean have created such a great community at A&N as far as when we're not lacking motivation, but when we need new ideas, we collaborate, and these roundtables have been so good in not only just getting together and getting motivated, but also thinking outside the box, and same with our agents. I mean, we're all salespeople and we thrive off of competition and just getting better, and we're never satisfied, which is why we do what we do. So Nina and Dean have made that just such a pleasurable experience for us to grow. All right, anything else? Dean, we're gonna go back to you. How can lenders make a difference in growing an agent's business?
And that goes back to that what I previously looked at. You know, a lot of agents were on the mortgage industry, probably on the low man of the totem pole, the food chain, right? So it's value, offer value. The first thing and foremost is offer yourself value. You know your stuff, you know that the deal's going to close. That's a given. You know, you offer what you need, that you can bring that. What we've been doing, what I've been doing for 10 years is marketing support. I have a full-on business development team that just works for me. And I realized in talking to agents, some agents, you know, they're not huge producers, they have established, they need that help. And I remember I've been through this, that I wish I had more time to do what? To follow up with those leads that came in an open house, to follow up with little things. Because when a deal comes in, that's more important than those little things. But it's that little things that build your business. So my business development team, we jump in. What do you need help with? You have an open house. We'll create a CRM for you, and we'll market to those people coming in an open house for you. We create any type of way we can help you with your business, so you can focus on what you're doing. So my team becomes their virtual assistant. That's one of the aspects we try to help agents with. So.
I got a comment. Perfect. I do, just to add on to what he said, I do think having a sphere of partners is so important, and having an incredible lender, because we work hard to get our buyers and sellers and, you know, our business, and then we do hand them off to the attorneys, the lenders, right? And if our referral partners fail, the deal fails, right? And it's a reflection of who we are as brokers, because again, if I'm going to give my best client to Dean and then Dean fails, it reflects on me. But
I
if
don't sleep at night at all for weeks.
yeah, we don't want him to do that, you know. But so if I pass a client on to Dean and he does a phenomenal job, guess what? I get the thank you, you know, and it reflects on me. So having the partnership, even though, you know, from a marketing standpoint and support standpoint, it's great, but having that trusted relationship and that go-to person that you can call for anything that you need, and you can, you know, get those answers, it's so important to surround you with the right people.
I love that. Carrie, we're going to stick with you. And we were talking beforehand about how your DMs, your TikTok, everything's flooded with inquiries and stuff, right? So going into 2025, what do you and your team do to prepare for the new year, specifically with client retainment, but also new business?
So December's a good time to plan, like you mentioned, is start planning for the next, months to come. And it's all about client service and experience, right? There's a ton of real estate agents here in Chicago, but it's how you treat the experience to each of the clients. So we're actually talking about that now is response time. And, everyone wants something so quickly. They want responses now, and how to manage all of that because it comes at you in all different forms. So it's a challenge and we're working on that.
Love it. All right, Crystal. Are there any software tools or digital marketing platforms you currently use or plan on using in 2025 to grow your business? This can include AI, lead gen.
Well, we already are using a lot of these. I'll just kind of talk through the ones that we're using. Anything that could save time, right? Time is the most valuable resource that we have, and so anything that could give you back more time in your day is always helpful. Our CRM that we use is Follow Up Boss. It is amazing. It's worth every single penny. Highly recommend it if you're solo or a growing team. It's just more than a CRM because I used to poo-poo on CRMs all the time. I used to say, don't give me another way to manage my contacts. Like, I don't need another way to know how to look up a phone number, but it's beyond a CRM. It really does do a lot. So look into that. It's a free trial. Like, I downloaded the free trial and then I couldn't undo it because all my business was already running in there the next day. So it was pretty awesome. And then another tool that I'd like to recommend is Agent Duty. It's an app that I developed for my team and am offering it to other brokers in the community. It's an app that helps you maximize your efficiency with work and helps give you back more time and helps you make more income by connecting you with other agents in your firm who are available to help you with showings, inspections, lockbox pickups, things like that. Salvador's in the back here. If you guys have any questions, it's in the App Store and the Play Store, and it's free to download. And if you guys have any questions, reach out to me or Sal. And we also have free snacks in the back, so please go grab some because we know you guys are always on the road driving, and so we just wanted to give you guys some snacks to have in your bag for later. So yeah, those are the two I would recommend.
I love it. Yeah, software in general, Nina and Dina are always looking for ways to make things more efficient and streamlined, which is great. And Nina preaches every single day that your database is your Bible, and I 100% agree. If you don't know your database, you will not succeed. So all great answers. Anything else to add? All right, we're going to talk about the market, which there were a lot of questions from people in the audience on this. So this question is going to be for all of you. Share what you predict what will happen when it comes to inventory, timing of sellers and buyers entering the market, and anything else relevant to the traffic of homeowners in 2025. Kind of a loaded question. Dean, you want to start?
So I think the big issue when people saw the market slow down, they thought, my goodness, interest rates have gone up, right? So what's an interest rate today? 6.5%, we hit 7. And I remember in 2000, the first deal I did, summer of 2000, was a 30-year fix. The rate was 8.75, and no one cared because the market was moving. So it hit me. It wasn't the interest rates were the issue. It was inflation. That's the thing that slowed everything down because everything else is so expensive. All the powers that be will say, rather than name the Federal Reserve and the government agencies and the new administration, know that that has to come down. So inflation starts coming down, then I do see an uptick in the market. Because aside from all this, I'm a big fan of real estate. If you look at the historic aspect of during a recession, during slow times, even during 2008, 7, 8, when we had the crash, if you hung on to your real estate, you did really, really well. So it's more of an education thing also. I'm optimistic about the real estate market. I think it's a great investment. And if we can get inflation in check, I think it's going to be a very good year.
Perfect. All right, Carrie.
I think 2025 is going to be a super busy, amazing year. Yes, that's what I think. And we're boots on the ground, right? So I see the calls, I see the inquiries. I think people's attitude has changed. I think we've all resigned to the fact where the interest rates are, right? The election's behind us. I think Chicago is such a resilient and affordable city. And I think we're going to crush it in 2025. I think it's going to be good.
Thank you for verifying that.
Yes.
Makes me feel better. No, but I agree the same too. I think it's going to be really hot, and rental prices are through the roof. these people that are renting probably don't want to rent anymore, and they don't want to live in a 3-bedroom and 1,500 square feet. So, and then we have a lot of buyers this year that are repeat buyers. So someone that you've sold to already is ready to buy again. So don't think that just because you sold them a condo 3 years ago that they're good. No, like they're probably ready to go. So, you know, pay attention to the 5 Ds in your pipeline, right? Those are the people that are moving and shaking: the diapers, diamonds, deaths, divorces, and diplomas, right? Those are the people that are
like
really
that.
moving and shaking. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a hot year.
I'm gonna send it back to Dean. My question was gonna be, where do you think interest rates are gonna be? But I'm gonna switch it a little, because I think we see a lot of advertisements and buyers do, and they say, well, you know, why does one say interest rates are here and one says something else? Can you talk just a little bit about LLPAs so that agents can kind of understand?
Yeah, it's, there, you know, you see, I think a lot of the bigger companies have stopped advertising interest rates because there's a lot of factors that go into an interest rate. There's no blanket. People are more often unaware that if you're purchasing a condo with less than 25% down on the fix, that'll be slightly higher what you see as advertised. Credit score has become a bigger issue in the last few years. Loan size also. So what is your rate is a question that really, okay, what's the scenario? So you have to be very cognizant of that. We try to be very aggressive here, watching our margins to stay aggressive with that. I've only been here a year and a half, just so you know. For years I was at other companies. It was one of those people saying, actually goes into A&M, the rates are that aggressive. That's just a plug. We monitor that to stay aggressive. But let's not focus on rates. Again, for real estate, for the market, like Carrie said, we're beyond that now. Rates 2.75, 3% rates were not realistic. The Federal Reserve printed $5 trillion in money into the economy. That's completely unrealistic. COVID was an unrealistic time. So once we get past that, once they realize those aren't coming back, and 6%, 7% on 30-year money is really, really a good return. So it's more education on the client, realizing if you're fighting me about an $8 here or there or $100 here and there, it's education on our part. Let them know you're buying something that's a really, really good investment.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Carrie, this was a very specific question to you. What is the level of interest and differences you've seen between buyers who are interested in vintage luxury versus new construction luxury?
Well, those are two very different buyers. And we do have both, you know, so what's the difference between?
I guess, have you seen one kind of, or people be more interested in vintage, or is new construction, you think, going to continue to be seen more so?
You know, it's 50-50. I mean, I know that's not probably the answer that you were looking for, but it really is 50-50. But I will say, new construction's become so cookie cutter, you know, and I do think that a lot of people are getting tired of seeing, I call them like the white boxes, you know, like it's just, they're so redundant. So I think that we've got some clients that have an appreciation for Chicago architecture, you know, and we do have some beautiful older homes here. So they do still want to see the vintage charm in the homes with the modern amenities. You know, they still want the furnace and not the radiator. You know, they want AC and not the space pack. So, you know, I think there's a crossover, but I do find it interesting when I'm working with younger buyers and they fall in love with it, like an 1889 home, or they want to restore a home. And I just love that, because, you know, that's stuff that I like. But, you know, to see a 26-year-old want to, you know, be in a vintage home, I just love that. And so it's this appreciation for craftsmanship and, you know, these just the charm of these homes. So I do see that coming back a little bit more, but it's 50-50. Some people want new construction.
That's why I asked. It's perfect answer. All right, and Crystal, what are 3 things that agents can do to expand their network, touch clients, and build their brand in 2025?
The new realtor resume is the Google search. If you go search yourself and you only have like 2 landing pages, our property or your company website and some other, that's just not enough. So work on your resume, your realtor resume, the Google search. Have photos on there, videos, have people writing you reviews. I see a lot of correlations with agents on my team who get a lot of reviews and get a lot of business. We often get people who find us online because of the reviews. So that's really important. It's always been my thing, is building presence, and it made everything a lot easier for me because I attracted these clients to me. Instead of me going out into my network and saying, hey, do you want to buy or sell? Hey, do you want to, and like my phone would ring and it's like, oh my God, I found you online. Oh, great, let's have a conversation, you know? So that's really important. And just making sure, I think, you know, aside from that, like the number one most important thing that I think I spent a lot of money on was getting a logo and branding, which I still use today, because that really anchors you into like who you are, the kind of you know, professional business you provide, and it just carries you a long way. I think Oprah said, right, put your name on everything. So it always stuck to me. And aside from that, like social media is the way to go. You know, free. You can't get any more free than that. It's you can't reach more people than that. And so there's so many times that, you know, agents come up to us like, oh, we know you, or we've seen you, and it's like, that's great, social media is doing its thing. So if people are coming up to you and having the conversation and they're saying, hey, how's real estate going? That means that your social media isn't working. So I know a lot of you guys get that questions in here. Hey, how's real estate going? How's your business? What you should be hearing if you're doing it right was, oh my God, I saw you online, that house was so cool, like I saw you were here and there and doing all this stuff. They're telling you about your business. That's when you know the shift has happened. So try to reach for that.
Carrie or Dean, do you have anything to add to that?
Couldn't compare with that.
That was great.
Oh, good.